Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news, transfer news, and just update show. We're going to talk about sort of everything going on in and around sort of Manchester United. We're going to talk about all the latest news in regards to Antony, in regards to Garnacho, Rashford. We're going to talk about Amorim, some of his post-match comments, and all of the information coming out. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Brighton game because look, the only thing I can think of that is that's keeping me somewhat sane is at least we're still above Spurs, so we're not the worst big club in the world right now. But the fact that we're 13th in the league and we deserve to be there, and I don't see where the next win's coming from, and just how bad we are, it is particularly worrying right now. It really is. Now, there is some updates coming in. Antony, set to be sold. That deal was essentially done. He's essentially leaving Manchester United. That should be sorted tomorrow. And Romano is now saying that United set to go out in the window and look to get some business done. We all look as tired as Alice right now. I'm tired. I'm tired of these players. I'm fed up. I don't trust the players. I've lost faith in the players. I mean, I've calmed down. I have the energy to be angry. And what's the point of getting angry when I know they'll probably do the same thing again to me next week and next week and next week? I think I've just accepted the reality of the situation that we're not finishing in the top half of the table. If we go out and we sign a top left wing back and we sign a top left 10, maybe it's a different story. I want to talk about Matthias Tell being available. But INEOS need to go out and do something. You've brought a manager in mid-season. You could have brought him in the summer, not spent 200 million on Ten Hag and spent it on Amorim, and we'd be in a different position, but you didn't because you were cowards. You've brought a manager in halfway through the season. You need to show him some backing in January. You need to show him some backing in January. Will they? I don't know. Is Championship a possibility? The way I see it is, Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton will probably go down. City thrashed Ipswich. You know what the mad thing was? Is I wanted City to beat Ipswich, but at the same time I didn't. Because I'm like, I don't want Ipswich catching us. Can you believe that? Can you believe that I'm feeling like that? I wanted Ipswich to beat City. Of course I do, enjoy the downfall. But then a part of me thought, no, actually a draw. Not an Ipswich win. I was hoping for a draw because I thought, oh, Ipswich can't get 3 points. That is where we are at right now. Well, I'm not even rooting for Ipswich to win. I'm rooting for a draw because I don't want anyone to blow us to get 3 points. Now, look, I don't think we're going to get relegated or anything like that. But this club is a mess. This club is an absolute mess. And the players aren't good enough. Ten Hag achieved 8th last season with that squad. But the football Ten Hag played, we deserved to finish 13th last season. We brought new signings in for Ten Hag. He was on track for about a 10th place finish. We're now on track for a 13th place finish. There is some transfer news. I am going to get into that. And I'm not blaming Amorim. Amorim's going to get things wrong, of course. Amorim is not the problem at Manchester United. Amorim has inherited a squad where the manager that brought the players couldn't achieve anything with, and he plays a completely different style and is trying to get the best out of the squad. The players simply are not good enough. Amorim needs backing. Amorim needs the board to go and get the transfer window spot. Amorim, when he first came to Sporting, things didn't go his way. He got the summer window. He got back in. But you cannot bring Amorim in and think, we don't need to give him any backing to turn the squad around, like INEOS were putting. INEOS were putting out information that they were going to trust Amorim to do what he could with the squad, and Amorim will get the most out of the squad. You can't think that Amorim's going to come in and plays a very different style of football, whose football's crucially dependent on wing-backs, and we've never had a manager that plays with wing-backs. You can't think a manager that system depends on wing-backs is going to come in and miraculously change anything without new players, because we need at least new wing-backs. Yeah. Someone said, can we bring back Eric Ten Hag? Yeah, says David. I mean, look, I think I said this. I'm not Amorim out. Anyone that's Amorim out, I think it's silly. If you've got to look at the bigger picture, you've got to look at the wider picture. But I said, if you sack Ten Hag, things aren't going to be fixed. I said, I like Ruben Amorim. I think with the right backing, Ruben Amorim could be the right manager for Manchester United, with INEOS bringing in the right players and the right backing, because he plays a very different style to Eric Ten Hag ball. But I said this, sacking Eric Ten Hag and bringing the new manager doesn't miraculously change things, because you've recruited for Ten Hag and you've recruited incredibly badly for Ten Hag, and now a new manager's got to try and work with the crap that's been recruited for Ten Hag while trying to play a different style that Ten Hag did. It's going to be a very difficult job. But anyway, let's get into the news. Let's get into the stories. Let's get into everything going about. Now, I didn't write up notes because I was in a mood earlier, but I'm going to read out everything that's been said in regards to news. So let's talk about the Antony news here. I thought I wrote out the notes here. Well, actually, I have wrote out the notes. I forgot to put them on a slide, so I've got them in docs here. But I can read this out here. Bear with me a sec, guys. Bear with me. Okay. I'll get the Antony news on my screen. Because I know people like it when I share my screen. Okay. Here is the Antony news here. So this is what we have on Antony. Ruben Amorim would want to replace Antony if he departs, said Laurie Whitwell. We'll talk about that and the replacements in a second. Fabrizio Romano said that Antony's set to join Real Betis, meaning Manchester United will be active in the transfer market in the next days to sign a player in that position. Fabrizio Romano said that Antony's set to join Real Betis, and United are now going to be active in the market to replace Antony. So Antony's set to leave United. It's essentially agreed with Real Betis. All parties involved in the Antony deal are expecting this to be his last game for Manchester United this season. This was said this morning. The verbal agreement with Real Betis is almost done, and the final details of the loan move are set to be resolved. And then it was also said there's now an agreement in principle between Real Betis and Manchester United for the loan of Antony until the end of the season. So that is the information we're sort of getting in regards to Antony. We can go into more detail here, saying that Antony reached an agreement reached between Manchester United and Betis for a loan without buy option for Antony. So Antony's exit out of Manchester United is essentially done. He's set to leave Manchester United, and we are looking at replacements. We're going to discuss who those replacements may be in a minute. Ten Hag brought an 80 million fidget spinner and the worst keeper I've ever seen for 50 million. He put us in financial ruin. I'm convinced he received commission. Do you know what it was? Ten Hag went with players he knew and he'd worked with before because he didn't trust John Murtough and Arnold because Manchester United have a shite track record of recruitment. That's the truth about it, because if we go to... Let me go to Man United transfers. So let's say, when did Ten Hag come in? Was it 2022? The problem was Ten Hag had too much say in recruitment, but we were okay with that at the time because the people that had done recruitment before Ten Hag was so bad that we were like, we don't want Murtough and Arnold choosing who we bring in. But you're absolutely right. You know, Antony's on the way out and Antony's going on loan where we're going to pay most of his wages with no option to buy. And that's an £85 million player that we're sending out on loan because he's that bad. You know, it's not good enough. It's not good enough, but the recruitment has just been an absolute mess. Sorry, bear with me a sec while I try and get this gone. Anyway, so if I get the recruitment up here on the screen, as you can see, 95 million euros in Antony, 70 million euros in Casemiro, nearly 60 million euros on Lisandro Martinez. You know, awful. And then if we go to Ten Hag's second summer and the money that was spent, via transfer marked, 73 million euros on Højlund, 64 million euros on Mount, 50 million euros on Onana. The money that's been spent under Ten Hag has been atrocious. I think Agatha's a good signing, Masraoui is good value for money. Xerxes had some bright sparks and shown that there's a player there, so even if Xerxes doesn't work at United, you know that we'll probably be able to get 25 million for him in the summer because of his age and what he's shown. De Ligt's been alright. I thought De Ligt had a solid game today. Like, the signings of this summer have been fine. And that's obviously the first summer of INEOS in the door so far. But if you look at the signings in Ten Hag's other two summer windows, value for money atrocious. Now, I think Rasmus Højlund can be a good player. And I think if Mason Mount could stay fit, he's not a bad player. But when you look at Mason Mount having 1 year left on his contract, the money we paid for him was a joke. Rasmus Højlund, massively overpaid for him. We should have gone for £40 million max. He's only off the back of a 9-goal season. It was Man United tax. Onana, we went for him because Ten Hag knew him, and that we were allowed, even though Diogo Costa was the other one we looked at, but Ten Hag knew Onana, that's why we went for him. We went for Antony because Ten Hag knew him, even though we were looking at Gakpo, but we decided to spend, we could have got Gakpo for £28 million and went for Antony because Ten Hag knew him. We went for Casemiro because we flopped with the De Jong deal and it was a last minute panic buy and we just lost 4-0 to Brentford. The recruitment that's been done at this club is a disgrace, and this is why I don't like this hammering out that people are saying. No, if Ten Hag recruited these players and spent 600 million and couldn't get them playing, and they were his players, why are you expecting someone with a completely different system to all of a sudden make this team magic? The recruitment wasn't good enough. And that is the biggest problem. The people above Amorim, the failure in recruitment the last So years, because we had open heart surgery. I hear people talking about Ralph Rangnick and open heart surgery. Well, the only players that played in Ralph Rangnick's final game that are still at Manchester United are Delot, Maguire, Garnacho and Bruno Fernandes, because Rashford's essentially gone. So there has been open heart surgery. We spent 600 million since Ralph Rangnick spoke about open heart surgery. There's only 4 players remaining in the squad, and we're still crap because of recruitment. Do you know how tiring that is? Rebuild after rebuild after rebuild, and we're still crap. Which is why, under Ruben Amorim, now INEOS are in the door, they better get recruitment right, because you've got rid of Dan Ashworth, the guy you wanted to bring in. INEOS have to go out and they have to get recruitment spot on. Antony's essentially gone. He's out the door. That's going to be done. But who are you going to get to replace Antony? Dorgles. That's a very big risk. Who's out there? Look, Cunha would be amazing. João Pedro, good player. We need to go out there and get someone that's going to boost that attack. Because I look at United right now and I say, look, there's no point bringing someone in if we don't believe they're good enough and spending money on them. Fair enough. But we need a left 10 and we need a left wing back in January. In the summer, we can go for an Antonio Stiller type midfielder. We can go for another striker, depending on what happens with Hoyland and Xerxes. We can go for 2. We can go for a right wing back and we go for another centre back in the summer. But in January, I think left 10 and left wing back makes such a difference. I really do. Alice, how do you think about Euro? Yeah, Euro looked better today. He wasn't particularly at fault for the goals, in my opinion. Someone said Amorim doesn't like Hoyland. Well, he was playing him over Xerxes until now. I'm not sure. I think just the players are out of form. Who should United look at? So I said this, and this is an unpopular opinion, but now that Antony's essentially gone, we're looking at reinforcements. And I don't know if that means wing back, because Antony plays sometimes as a wing back or an attack. But we've got to sign at least a left 10 or a left wing back, 100%. 100%. But there is obviously reports coming out that Matthias Tell wants to leave Bayern, blah, blah, blah. My honest thing is, if Garnacho leaves, because this guy could play as a striker in the left wing and could be probably more suited to left 10 because of the pockets, Matthias Tell could be an option. Now, I don't think we're going to get him. I think he'll probably reject us. But I'm thinking right now, if Napoli are upping and up in the bid for Garnacho and desperate to get Garnacho, and Garnacho reportedly has agreed to leave, wants to leave, we'll talk about that later on. Money could be there for someone like a Matthias Tell, because look, I like Cunha, I like Semenyo, but I just don't think they're going to be available in the January window. There is talk that João Felix could be available in the January window as well. Interestingly, he's obviously not getting on with Maresca, and Kuku's a player that Chelsea are trying to get out. I'm just trying to think of what 10s are available, because there's not many 10s available in the market right now. So are we going to replace Antony with, I don't know, a Dorgu? Or are we going to... Kirkers, again, probably not available till summer. Nori probably not available till summer. Are we going to go for Alvaro? Are we going to go for Dorgu? Or are we going to look at attack, like a Dorgles or someone? It'll be interesting to see what we do. But now Antony's out the door. United, it's coming out today that United are all of a sudden looking for reinforcements. Is it a PR spin? Are we just going to get Antony out the door and not bring anyone in because we're still paying most of Antony's wages now he's out the door? Is it PR spend? João Felix, I think, suits Amorim's system a lot more than he suits Maresca's system. I'll tell you that for a fact. But I think he's overrated. We need a left-sided player. The left side is what we need, 100%. There's talk of Cherky, 19 million. The problem is, does he run enough for Amorim's system? Criticising the players in public will end badly for Amorim. The players will turn on him. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully he can get that authority and control in the dressing room, but I know what you mean. We need a 9 and a wing back, yeah. I mean, for me, it doesn't have to be a 9. It just has to be at least a 9 or a left 10. Someone that can do one of those roles. Now, what is the latest on Antony? Because there is more updates coming on Antony. Antony's plans to travel Sevilla in the next few hours. So Antony is set to be on his way to Sevilla in the next few hours to complete the loan move, by the way. And apparently United are now going to look in the market for opportunities. Again, we lose a game, things are bad, things are negative. Pressure on INEOS. People are calling out Manchester United. People are calling out INEOS, and they're saying, we need some backing. We need some signings. The pressure is now on INEOS. So now the media's coming out saying, well, now Antony's gone. Now Antony's flying to Sevilla. Man United are going to bring someone in. Well, then go bring someone in. Because for me, I think what the media's telling us, we're going to bring someone in and we're going to bring a replacement in. Great. But actions speak louder than the words. The mood is negative around Man United. Pressure's on INEOS. They can just brief to the media they're going to bring someone in. Try and calm fans down. I want to see you working on a deal. I want to wake up tomorrow to a David Ornstein bomber being like, Manchester United have made an opening bid for so-and-so. I want to wake up to a David Ornstein bomber. That's what I want to wake up to. And I'm not talking someone like Man United have made a bid for someone crap. or a loan offer someone crap. I want to wake up to an ambitious move from United. Nuno Mendes is on the verge of joining United. Miros Kirk is on the verge of joining United. Semenyo, Visso, Cunha, and Buemo. I want to see a player that I think, yep, they get in our best starting 11, be linked to United, and United move for them. That's what I want to wake up to. That's what I want to see. Gittins is another one we've been linked to with Dortmund wanting Rashford. I want to see something like that because Antony's gone. Cool. One of Garnacho or Rashford's going to go. Probably Rashford because Ruben Amorim's basically said, I don't want Rashford in and around my squad. So I don't know what's going to happen with Rashford. But we need to... I think if Rashford and Antony are going, as much as we need wing back, surely they're looking at the attack. Someone said Antony will probably miss his flight, knowing our luck. Robert Lewandowski for Rashford. Look, who says no to that? But I don't think that's going to happen. Barcelona are trying to offload Ansu Fati so they can get Rashford in. Tottenham are billing to Ansu Fati, who's the most injury-prone player ever, and the one thing Tottenham want to avoid is injury. So that would be, imagine. But Tottenham are linked to Ansu Fati. But if someone buys Ansu Fati, that's Rashford off to Barcelona, by the way. We've just got to sort of wait for that to see if it moves along. This, that. Ferguson didn't win anything in years. Give Amorim time. Look, Amorim deserves time. I'm not Amorim out, by the way. And I've never said that, but I'm not going to judge Amorim until he's had signings. Whatever happens, unless we get relegated, whatever happens between now and the end of the season is not on Amorim. Unless we get relegated, I think Ten Hag wouldn't have got us relegated, let's be honest. But unless we get relegated, I'm not going to judge what happens between now and the end of the season in regards to Ruben Amorim. I will judge Ruben Amorim when he's had a few signings in. If we go and bring Ruben Amorim one crappy left wing back in the summer and not back him, then I can't judge him. But until we've gone and spent 200 million on Ruben Amorim, I can't judge him. And when I say judging Ruben Amorim, let's say we finish 14th this season. Let's say next season we're hit and miss, but we finish 6th. Then that's fine. If Ruben Amorim's had 4 players brought in and we finish 6th next season, that's fine because I see progress. But then the following season after that, more signings in, we've got to look better. We've got to look comfortably in the top 4. And maybe the season after that is the title charge. But what I'm saying is it took time for Arteta, 8th, 5th. Do you know what I mean? This is Ruben Amorim's first season. His second season, I think, is just building out the top club, being more stable. His third season is when I need to see us looking like a team that could get Champions League. That's what I said with Ruben Amorim. And INEOS have to get that recruitment spot on. I'm not going to judge him now. These are not his players. He did not waste 600 million like Ten Hag did and like Man United did. I will judge him when he's had his own signing. So yeah, for me, it's not an Amorim until we've seen him. Second season, we can judge him. It's not about winning the title, doing something mad in the second season. It's about seeing football, seeing progress, and in general, getting better results. That's what it is as well. Can't believe we spent 85 million on Antony, and we're literally begging Betis to go and pay a little bit of his money so we can send him out on loan and still pay half his wages. I know, crazy. Keep dreaming, Alice. If Bournemouth managed to get into Europe, would any of their players want to play for United? I mean, look, it's Man United, but I'm not saying that we'd be able to get them. Apparently Kirkus wants United because he's a United fan, but look, you got to have elements of realism. You know, I like Semenyo, I like Kirkus. I'd take them at Man United in a heartbeat. Do they want to go to Man United? Who knows? In the next few days, there will be new contact between Napoli and Manchester United for Garnacho. Napoli expected to up their bid again and determined to sign Alejandro Garnacho, who wants the move. It's reports coming in from Italy as well. Other reports coming in that it's going to be a big week ahead for United in the transfer market. INEOS are planning to act. All right, actions speak louder than the words. We're getting news briefing us that INEOS are going to act this week in the next window. Antony's out the door. Thanks, but I want to see it. Is this PR spin, or are you going to go out and you're going to spend some money and you're going to back this manager? Because you've had 3 weeks to back this manager in the January window and you haven't. Were you waiting to realise how bad these players were? Because let's be honest, if it wasn't for Amad Diallo, we lose to Southampton. And if we'd have lost to Southampton and lost to Brighton, we'd be looking at this like, guys, I'm worried. Amad Diallo papered the cracks versus Southampton. You know, Vivel will know. Wilcox will know. They're clever guys. They will know. No, this team needs signings in January. We cannot go to the summer. So INEOS, I'm sure Vivel and Barada are telling INEOS right now and telling the Glazers right now, spend some money. I'm sure of it because they're clever people. They're footballing people. So I want to see some money be spent. I want to see this manager be backed. Amorim has called out the players and the board, has he? I'll have to look through the quotes later. Maybe I'll discuss that in my live show tomorrow. We underestimated Brighton. I feel like we're not up for those games. We're only up for the big games when we don't have to do much on the ball. As soon as we're expected to do something on the ball, we crumble. Why do you want so many Bournemouth players? I'm just saying. I'm just naming Premier League talent: and Mbuemo, Semenyo, Kirkes. Bramford was one we named. Kudus. I'm just naming players that are good in the Premier League. That's what I'm naming as well. Alice, who is our next game in the Premier League? I believe it is Fulham, who we did beat first game of the season, but they've looked very good lately. It's Fulham on Sunday. They will give us a tough game, but I fancy us to get a draw at Fulham. Rangers, we should beat them. Rangers is the next game than Fulham. What's the latest on Garnacho? So, reports from Italy are saying that Garnacho wants to join Napoli, and Napoli are making another bid, and they're going to up their bid. We'll have to wait and see. There is also reports on Marcus Rashford to Dortmund. It was said in recent days, Borussia Dortmund have strengthened their case for the Marcus Rashford deal. It's understood that BVB have requested information from the Premier League about Marcus Rashford, and also asked about how he behaves outside the club. So, Borussia Dortmund inquiring about Rashford. But do you know what's weird? And do you know I don't believe the Borussia Dortmund to Rashford links? Eric Ten Hag is going to be offered a job at Borussia Dortmund. Did Eric Ten Hag and Rashford have the best relationship? I'm not sure. So I'm a bit sceptical about Rashford to Borussia Dortmund. I think it will be Barcelona. I think the reason AC Milan have gone for Kyle Walker is because apparently Marcus Rashford's brother told AC Milan he's going to prioritise Barcelona. That's apparently the situation with Rashford. So we're waiting for Barcelona with Rashford. Rashford could be here till deadline day because Barcelona will find a way to get Rashford on the best possible deal. Do you know what Barcelona are going to do? They're going to be like, well, Man United are trying to force Rashford out. They haven't played him all month. Barcelona will go for Rashford the last hour in the hope that Man United agree in a panic to basically just pay half his wages. Someone said Ruben Amorim could just be at United to get the big payout when he gets sacked. Maybe he hates us. All right, let's not make silly comments like that. Ruben Amorim, I believe, with the right recruitment, will be successful at Manchester United, but that's going to take time. It's going to be a project. We need to get recruitment right. The biggest problem at Manchester United is the Glazer, it is the ownership. After that, it is the players. And the players aren't the biggest problem because the ownership did that, the player power. We need to rebuild, we need to refresh, we need to reset, but we need to do it right this time. Because how many times are we wasting 400, 500, 600 million across a couple of windows? We need to do it right. We need to involve the youth. We need to involve Carrington because they're good. The youth is good. But we need to get recruitment right. And that's what we need to do. Dortmund, my second favourite team, not a bad idea. I'd like to see Rashford in the Bundesliga as well. Antony's is flying out to Sevilla tonight to leave Manchester United is what's coming in as well. So yeah, I don't want to look. People have been negative about Amorim in the chat, guys. We were crap. Look, I said Amorim's not going to come in and do miracles. Maybe he improves certain players. He's picked Ahmad over Antony, so he's got one up on Ten Hag there. But he's not a miracle worker. It wasn't Ten Hag sacked and we're good again. You've got to remember, this is the same players. These are the same players that have underperformed for years. We've got to build, and we've got to build this club good again. Antony is on his way to Sevilla as we speak. He's going to be out the door. Now that Antony's out the door, now that someone out the door, we're looking to bring someone in. Who are we looking to bring in? I don't know. We've been linked to Dorgals, but I think we should look at Matthias Tell. Maybe he'll be pricey, maybe he'll reject United, but I think we should look at Matthias Tell. Semenyo's been linked, Cunha's been linked, but we can't get him till the summer, and Mbuemo's been linked. Hopefully we go and bring someone in. It's a shame we got to Dan Ashworth, I agree. Alice, who was your man of the match? Guys, who would you say was... Okay, that's a question for you guys. Who would you give man of the match to? The worst player was easily Onana. He'd have got the lowest rating for me. No one really impressed. Like, Xerxes made a few good touches here and there. Like, but Xerxes weren't bad. I don't think... Do you know what? The defending at times was awful, but I don't think, like, the centre-backs as individuals had awful games. Like, I thought Delo was definitely better than Mazraoui. Mazraoui had a bad game, for sure. I think he's exhausted, though. I like Mazraoui, but he didn't look great. I mean, Ahmad didn't have a good game for Ahmad, but was still probably the second or third best player on the pitch. Ahmad and Xerxes brought something to the attack. Bruno converted his penalty. Maybe De Ligt. Xerxes, Ahmad. Yeah, limited. Very limited. De Ligt probably. Onana, Brighton's man of the match. You'd probably look at De Ligt. De Ligt, Ahmad, Xerxes. Yeah, Toby Collier was good when he came on, but Yeah, very limited options. Another game where Casemiro doesn't get on as well. Højlund only got about 6 minutes. Same with Antony. But yeah, Brighton were the better side. We had one shot on target, and that was the penalty. We had one big chance. We had one shot on target, that was the penalty. Like, our XG was very similar to Brighton's, but we actually didn't create. That game could have gone on for another half an hour, and I don't think we score. I don't think we get relegated, people. Like, at the end of the day, we are 10 points above the relegation zone. Like, we'll be fine in regards to relegation. But look, but it is weird. It's not nice to see how low down we are. Like, we are. How close are we to the top 10? Let me look at that up. We are. So 10th place is 33 points. We are 7 points. We're 7 points. We could win the next 3 games in a row and we still won't be top half of the table. That's the worrying thing. Just how far behind we are. Like, we're 13th and we're low. Any chance you could promote academy keeper? Look, the thing with Onana is he can be really good for 6-7 months, be faultless, and you believe in him again. And then he has that period where he's crap. And unfortunately, he's in that period when he's crap. But ultimately, we could look at selling Onana, bringing Suzuki in. But I still think there's bigger issues than Onana. I still think there's bigger issues than Onana. I know Onana was crap today, but I think we can get away with one more year of Onana. I don't think we could get away with one more year of this attack. But he's got a mistake in him. That's the problem. Onana can be good, but he's got a mistake in him. That's the problem. Yeah, I tell you what, it's worrying how far behind we are. Yeah, someone said, where was Martinez? I think Lissandro Martinez was being rested. I mean, Alice, 8th place in Europa League. Would you take that? Yes. I mean, if someone said to me at the beginning of the season, 8th place, I'd have been like, F off. But no, with where we are now, 8th place in Europa League. Napoli are top of Serie A, by the way. So that could be an incentive for them to spend money on Garnacho. He's the dream signing. Juventus are apparently going to bring in Vega. Chelsea are also looking at Garnacho. That could maybe opt Napoli into bidding up for Garnacho with Chelsea's interest. Garnacho would be way better moving to Napoli than Chelsea. Chelsea have got an abundance of wingers, and he'll probably just be thrown in the Conference League. I think Garnacho is a Napoli player. McTominay's doing well at Napoli, but I think he'd have struggled at United had he stayed. McTominay's one of those players where they leave United and they're good. I think Marcus Rashford's going to be really good when he leaves United. We have this thing of there's so many players that are underwhelmed for United and poor for United. Then they leave our club and they go to another club and they start balling out and they start playing good. Because what happens when you throw players in an unstable environment where you haven't built the squad properly, so the squad is really unbalanced, is those players struggle to thrive because they're thrown into an unstable environment where the squad lacks the balance for them to perform to their best. And that's a big problem we have at Manchester United. The unstable environment. That's why so many people leave Manchester United and look miles better. Garnacho starts for Napoli. You can't say the same about Chelsea. There's no cure on and off the field. What we need is a good transfer window in the summer so Amorim can start this next season well and bring some positivity to the club. And then the second summer window Amorim gets, we need to have another good window so we look like a team that can really push the top. We're going to need 2-3 years of patience to rebuild, and we're going to have to hope that INEOS, unlike Murta and Arnold and Woodward and the people before them, do not F up this rebuild and they spend money in the right places. That's what we've got to hope for. Once Napoli pay 70 million, they'll get Garnacho. I think United will sell him for 60 million. Now, I don't know if Garnacho wants to leave Man United or not, but a lot of sources in Italy are saying Garnacho wants out, he's going to sign a new deal, la-di-da, la-di-da, la-di-da. Who knows? Bear with me. Bear with. There's more news on Antony coming out here. Antony to Real Betis is essentially done. Antony is going to fly out to complete the move either tonight or tomorrow. Manchester United will look at the market for reinforcements in attack. Also open to looking at the wing-back position, but it depends on price and opportunities available. Ruben Amorim wants reinforcements, is what's been said, which we basically said earlier. That's just rewording what other journalists have said today. Someone said, when's Mason Mount back? March. Luke Shaw should be back in 2 weeks. What do you think of Euro? Good talent, but I feel a bit sorry for him. 16 games left. Do you think we get relegated? No. You just got to look at Southampton and Leicester. We have too much quality over them. Someone says Bayndi had a good game. Yeah, but that's Bayndi's first good game for United. Just because they had one good game doesn't mean he's better than Onana. Someone said buy Rutter off Brighton. Well, he's only just started performing. Belieber I like, but got a mistake in him. Like, if you want my honest opinion, what would I do in the summer? I'd bring Cunha in, I'd bring Gyökeres in, I'd bring Semenyo in, I'd bring Stiller in, I'd bring Alvar, I'd bring Kirkes and Dorgu in, both of them, and then I would bring someone like Schlotterbeck in, and then we can potentially look at keepers. That's what I do. Is that going to happen? No, because one, we don't have the funds, and two, it's not FIFA. But that's what I'll do. Antony and Sancho will both be gone in the summer. The problem, basically, we've got to hope that Antony plays good for Betis. We've got to hope, because the reason we're sending Antony out on loan is because, and we're sending him out on loan and paying his wages and everything, is because no one wants Antony. No one wants to buy him. But if Antony goes to Betis, and let's say he plays 14 games, he gets 10 goals and 5 assists, which is not going to happen, then we're like, oh, we could actually ask for 20 odd million for Antony and we might find a sale. We need Antony to go to Betis and smash it. No one wants an option to buy an Antony. No one wants to buy many of his wages. But the only way we're going to get money for Antony is a good loan. Yeah. We need more leaders. I mean, Man United are trying to force Casemiro out. Man City are trying to get Douglas Luiz now. Man United are trying to force Casemiro out. He's not played another game. There's interest from Saudi in Casemiro, but he's been funny and reluctant to leave, apparently, some sources are saying. So I think they're not playing Casemiro as our sign of, move to Saudi, sort it out. There's a feeling Casemiro could leave. There's a feeling Malacia could leave. Antony's essentially gone. Rashford's expected to go. There's a possibility Garnacho could go. Xerxes will stay. Everyone else, as far as I'm aware, will stay. Eriksen is looking to leave, but probably will stay. Man United are looking for reinforcement at wing back and in attack, but who knows if we bring someone in. I don't know if we will. But listen, people, I'm going to wrap up the live show here. I just wanted to talk about the match and the news. I will be back tomorrow morning. Thank you, everyone, for watching. See you next time. Bye.